You're a mess. Hello, fuckers. How's everybody doing?
I'm a mess.
Ciao Ciao, everybody. And welcome to Giallo, Ciao Ciao episode. I don't know the number. That's
62, I think.
62. Where we are going to be discussing the extremely controversial, according to our group, the Bloodsucker Leads the Dance.
The Bloodsucker.
Which is not only a misleading title, but not the best one in the world either.
Well, there's no Bloodsucker and there's no dance. So,
yeah, and there's hardly any leading.
Yes, we did Trauma last time, episode 61. Yes, 62 is where we are. Okay. Hooray!
So here is the thing that's pissing me off.
Awesome.
Google Hangouts is ending.
Oh, no.
On the 12th. And it's going to YouTube Live. And in fact, right now, if someone wants to watch us, even though there is a Google Hangout page to watch, it will still send them to YouTube.
I see.
So that's why we've been having so many problems that we've been having lately. But the biggest problem is once it goes to YouTube Live, I have no fucking idea how we're going to do the show. Because I was looking at YouTube Live, and I really don't even have the slightest idea how the fuck we're going to get it to work. So we're going to have to figure that out before our next episode.
Well, I think that if you go back to the way Ciao Ciao was originally, we decided to come on and do Hangouts because it made the ability to make a podcast as a end result easier, because we were using Skype, and then we were trying Mumble and all kinds of weird stuff.
Call graph, we did all sorts of shit, and every time we did it, one of us would always sound super shitty.
Right.
Like, it was never like a solid fucking thing.
Right.
And as fucking stupid as technology is, this has been the best sounding thing that we've done. And It's fun because we get to interact with people, which is always good.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing the show live and being able to do it interactive. And, you know, if you're able to watch it live, it's cool. If you want to watch our ridiculously weird looking faces talk about Giallo, you can always go onto YouTube and watch it later.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've seen some of the more professional podcasters do is that they all record their own audio track. Like they sync up and they say, okay, 3, 2, 1, record. And then you're recording your voice track on a local, wave file, and I'm doing the same thing. And then in post, you put them all together and it sounds like everybody's in the same room.
And that's super cool too, if we want to go that route. Because I could do that. I'm sure you could do that.
Yep.
But we'd probably just lose the whole video thing. So anyway, so that's that. I want to give a big update on the Ciao Ciao network, because that is a huge deal right now. Basically, like most things, I bit off more than I can chew. And we're still doing the weekly shows. It's the extra shows that have been kind of slipping. And because of all this, I'm going to make everything down to the lowest thing. So if you want to pledge $1, you'll get access to everything. And
nice.
The tangible things to ship for free have turned out to be a complete clusterfuck. And so I'm not going to be able to do that anymore because it's costing more money than pledges. And it's just, I can't do that.
Can't hack it.
Every month. So,
it was very ambitious of you, and I think
so that, it's still gonna happen. It's just, it's not gonna be as like boom, boom, boom as it was the first month.
Well, that's okay. You get people interested, you tickle their ass with a feather, and then you make them wait.
Yeah, it's kind of how I do things.
It's kind of like this movie.
Oh, dude, That's a whole other thing. So many things have happened this week. Now, we're not going to talk about the actual place, but there was this one amazing little corner of the internet that's no longer there. And
Oh, yes, this is true.
breaking my heart.
It is the place where those who are in the know go to get all of their trashiest and hard to find films. It was recently the victim of a DDoS attack. And we're hoping that the proprietor of this site will get his site back up again. I read some Reddit comments saying that they were working on restoring everything. So for those of you who know what we're talking about, it's basically our main source of trying to find some of these harder to find films. And it is a private invite only kind of website. So that's as far as I'll go.
Yeah, I know there's other ones like it, but I don't know if they got hit either, and I don't know how to get in them. But it's just a lot of these movies, especially the version of Bloodsucker Leads the Dance that I like, you can't get anywhere unless you're a part of one of these things. And yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't have a copy of the film, and I watched the version on YouTube, and that may have contributed to me not liking it so much. It may have something to do with it.
Well, like I was telling you, when I was trying to, because we were supposed to do the show on Tuesday, and I was rushing home to be able to do it. And I wanted the movie fresh in my mind, so I go on YouTube while I'm driving down the 210 with my phone up in my visor, which is super safe, watching the movie while I'm driving. And when there was no weird bits in it, I was like, what the fuck is this movie?
Right.
And some of the cuts where the adult content should be are so badly cut.
Yeah.
You could tell like some big chunk of the movie had just gotten cut out. And it was almost comical, like watching it like that.
Yeah, and listen, I didn't know that it had porn elements because I knew nothing about the film. I had seen a poster for it in one of the books.
Posters are awful.
Yeah. So I went to watch it. Well, first of all, I went to go look for it, and I didn't have it, and our source for where we could get it from was down. So I did find a full-length copy on YouTube. I started watching it, and I didn't know that I was going to see porn, but I kind of started to get suspicious. Like there was a scene where the one guy who looks the one guy who is staring in the window at the lesbians, and then all of a sudden they're just sitting there, like just sitting there. And he's like, what is he looking at? And then there's another scene where the count, is he a count? The main guy?
He's like a lord or a count.
Lord. There was a scene where he finally gets to go to bed with the girl that looks like his ex-wife. And that got chopped. Like I think he's like starts to put his hand on her leg, and then all of a sudden they cut to the woman outside the door knocking on the door or something.
And it's all like it's like a really bad cut. Like it.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably tell you what this movie is about. And since most people detest this film, I will try to do everyone a good service by making it more exciting than it was. So check it out. 1901. Okay. This dude in a top hat on a carriage comes rolling up to a playhouse to watch this play, and it's the last night of this play. And it turns out that not only is it the last night, but they just decided to fuck it off, and they're not going to do it anyway. And so they weren't going to let him in. And then the guy's like, well, here, I got some pocket lint and a button. And they're like, okay. So he comes in and he goes up to this girl. The first girl he goes up to, I think, is Cora, who is just like the biggest skank in the fucking world. And apparently she was a huge actress in Austria, I want to say. I don't know what that entails, being a big actress in Austria in the 70s, but that's what she was anyway. So she starts flirting with the dude, and then the blonde chick comes out, and the blonde chick's name is Evelyn, but he keeps calling her Evil Lynn, like fucking Skeletor from fucking Masters of the Goddamn Universe. And he's like, "Oh, you're so hot.
Evelyn.
Why don't you come to my house or castle? And and all of you could come." And then Cora's like, "Yeah, it's not like he's gonna rape all four of us." And he goes, ho ho ho. He like, his voice is like the most like calm but weird voice in the world. It's great. So anyway, they get on a fucking rowboat and go up to the castle, and he professes his love to Evelyn or Evelyn. And in doing so, he almost spills the beans about his missing wife, and then says, "No, I won't talk about it. It's fine." And then there's it like cuts back, and then it cuts back to her, and it's just this weird little bit of dialogue. She's like, "The whole world's a theater, and sometimes it's not." And then it cuts away, and it's like, this. My dog is a fucking asshole. Sorry. That'll shut him up. So anyway, it has all these like really weird cuts to like odd dialogue that means absolutely nothing to anything. They get to the castle, and then we start meeting all the weird people around, like the super religious zealot butler, and the amazing Femi Buscemi. I always want to call her Benassi because of Benny Benassi, but it's not. It's like, what is it? Is it Buscemi or so? I don't know. What anyway?
I don't know.
She's amazing. She's in so much stuff. She's in Stripping for Your Killer.
Yes.
The Killer Must Kill Again. I don't know. Like she's in a ton of spaghetti westerns and a ton of Polizio. She's like number 3 on my who's who of hot Italian stars that I would, yeah. So
you
anyway,
would travel back in time, and
I would travel back in time with, yeah. So we find out that the two people, Penny and some other fucking chick, they're lesbians, which is great. And the guy, the little dude that Cora keeps saying is not really a man. He's in love with Cora and all this other stuff. And everyone's at the castle. There's weird fishermen. There's a couple of maids that have like one awesome scene, and then it sucks. But basically, as everyone's there, we find out that what happens to his family and everything. And basically, his grandfather cut off the head of his grandmother and then threw himself off a cliff. Then his dad, when he got older and got married, cut off the head of his wife and then jumped off a cliff. And then we find out that the count's wife disappeared. He says she ran away with another man, but also she looks exactly like Evil Lynn.
Right.
And because of this, Femi, who is like the head maid or something, I don't know what the fuck she actually does, she's pissed off and she's not going to let this happen. The priest is pissed off because of all the abominations in the castle. And
yes, he's very into cursing everybody with his prayers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some weird painting a la Hannibal. It's very awkward and weird. But then what happens is one of the daggers goes missing, the dagger that actually beheaded all of these people, and people's heads start coming off. And one by one, they have to figure out who's been cutting off people's heads. And that's the fucking story. Originally, when I first saw it, there was a whole lot of fur burger and bumping and grinding. In this version, there wasn't.
Yes, and that may have like I said before, contributed in a great way to the fact that, well, let me put it this way. It's not that I hated the movie. It's that I didn't watch it. Like, I had it on and I started watching it and I just went like I just, it started out with these weird shots of the guy riding the horse and buggy through these narrow alleyways forever. And it was just like, okay, we're going to take the camera and we're going to put it in front of the horse and we're going to have him come through. And then we're going to cut and then we're going to take the camera and we're going to put it in front of the horse and we're going to have him come through. And they did that like 20 times. And eventually he turns around and stops by this little doorway where they have the theater. The guy gets out, walks in, and the horse drives away. And then, here's what I got out of it, and I'm going to admit right now that I have very little to contribute to this episode because I watched it, and here's what I remember. I remember that part. I remember them all being in the theater, and this guy coming and saying, "Let me take you to my house," a la House on Haunted Hill or whatever. 7 Deaths in a Cat's Eye. This whole gothic thing where everybody's in one place. And I didn't know about the porn, like I said before. If I had known, I probably would have tried harder to find the porn copy because at least that would have made it interesting enough to watch a little bit more. So then they all go to the house, and there's a whole bunch of like nothing that happens for a while. We find out that the girl that he's really interested in, it looks exactly like his wife who disappeared, right? Yeah. And that's all we know at the moment. And then there's a whole bunch more. Nothing happens. And then we have this guy that looks like Peter Lorre, who's got one of the best lines in the movie, and I can't remember what it is. Something about the girls are having sex and it's love. I watched these 2 women make love and it was fantastic and you should watch it too, or something like that.
Yeah.
I have it isolated on an audio track back at my office. And when I do post-production, maybe I'll take out the part that I just ad-libbed and put the real quote in, and we can all laugh at it.
There are so many
there's a lot of them
lines in this movie.
Yeah,
there's so shit. And I think there's one of the ones that I heard that I noticed today for the first time is after Cora's the first one to get killed because she's obviously the skankiest one of the bunch. And she's the only one dead. And this one girl, she's like, I can't remember what she said, but she said something like, "We got to find the person who's killing all these people." And like only one person has died. And she's like jumping the script. And she's like, we have to find who's murdering everybody. And that's hysterical. But like they're like when they're at dinner and he's like, "Oh, my family. Oh, I don't want to give you such a horrific story." And Cora goes, "No, go ahead." And he's like, "My grandfather." And it was just like without a skip. He's just like, "My grandfather was a crazy man," and like she didn't have to twist his arm at all. He was like ready to go, and he just like went right into it. But Cora's character is like just out of control. Like her dialogue is so, when she goes back to the little hut with the fisherman to do the bone thug.
Yeah.
Just watching that scene and seeing how she goes up to him and he's like, "Oh, I have a hut." And it's like right behind him. And she's like, "Oh, you do? Let's go." And then she puts her hand on him and she's like, "Oh, is that your hut right there?" And he's like, "Yes, that is my hut." And it's like, there's all these shots where it's like a big, really far away shot and like the actors' backs are to the camera. And so they're just like trying to come up with dialogue in the mixing room. Like, "Oh, so that's your hut, that hut-shaped thing in the middle of nowhere. That's the only thing there." "Yes, that's my hut."
That's my hut.
Yeah. And then like that whole thing was really weird because he's like, "Yeah, I live there with my aunt and she's out right now." And she's like, "Okay." So they start boning. And then his dad shows up, the Peter Lorre guy, and starts beating the shit out of him. Like,
Yes.
he's like, oh yeah, I forgot my dad lives here too, I guess. Like, how did that whole thing, like,
Uh,
get glossed over? Like, there was just so many hysterical little tidbits. And Evelyn or Evelyn or whatever, her crying when she's like getting chased at the end of the movie, it's like ah for like fucking 15 minutes. It's so awful. But if you can't have fun watching this movie, even without the porn shit in it, like, this is just one of those most ridiculous. And like how you were saying, like, you got really bored. I didn't get bored with this movie until the cop showed up. The
right.
cop, that whole
That's
bit,
what I was. That's what I was gonna say.
fucking
Like,
weird, dude.
like.
That was like the weirdest thing ever.
Well, they spent. I mean, so that was what I was leading into. So you had a whole bunch of nothing happening, and then there's these weird interplays and exchanges that included porn that I didn't get to see, and then heads start showing up in various places, and then the next thing I know, like, they're talking about the heads, and you know, the main guy who runs the castle, he's got like, he's burying these two different corpses now, and they're both buried. And the next thing you know, there's this scene where they're all together, and I guess was a police officer or some sort of police person was there to explain, you know, what had gone on.
And he didn't know the difference between his ass and a hole in the ground.
But dude, they took at least, I'm gonna say at least 10, maybe 15 minutes of just sitting around talking about
On one shot.
who did what. Right. Yeah, it was like one camera angle, right?
Yeah. It's so weird. And like the thing that's weird about that is that first the little guy, I can't remember his name, he confesses to the whole fucking thing.
Right.
And then the cop's like, oh, too bad you were a set dresser and not an actor, because you would have had a great career. So I don't believe anything you're saying. And then he goes to Evelyn, and he's like, do you recognize the girl in this picture? And she's like, well, yeah, that's his wife. And he's like, no, it's you. And the count's like, what? And he's like, yeah, your wife was crazy and she broke out of an asylum and all this other shit. And the whole time he's talking, Evelyn's going like this, like, oh no, like, I've been found out. And then you find out that that's not even true.
Yeah, yeah. So can you explain that? Because I got lost on, like, okay, so when we got to that last scene where it was like, okay, everything's gonna get explained like some sort of big Agatha Christie ending. I caught the part where the one guy confessed to do it, and then it wasn't him, and then they said that the main girl who resembled the wife really was the wife.
Yeah.
Like, I got that part, but then something else happened where they went into another room and there was some weird woman with red hair.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, so they said that was the wife, okay? And she acted like she just got found out. But it turns out that wasn't true. And so, and the cop even says, he's like, but, that's not true. So let me go talk to the religious guy. And the religious guy is like, I didn't do it, but whoever did, the hand of God, da 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 da. I would have arrested that guy for just being a dick.
Right.
So then, like, he goes away from him and he goes to Femi's character and he's like, but, like, you're the one who did it, aren't you? And she's like, yes, I'm sorry, I did it. And she's like, it's just that so apparently the story is she was in the house from a young age. And
who's she?
Femi, the head maid girl.
Okay, got it.
And she was in love with the count. And as soon as she became a woman, basically had knockers and started looking like a woman instead of a kid, the count started banging her.
Okay.
And the count kept banging her.
As counts do.
Yeah, until he got his, like, arranged marriage or whatever the fuck happened and he had to get married. But even after he was married, he was still sneaking off and banging her.
Right.
And so,
as counts do.
Yeah. And so when he went away one time, Femi decided that she was going to get rid of the wife. So instead of just like killing her or something like that, because she couldn't do that, she locked her in this like dungeon where like all of his fathers had died or their bodies were something. I don't fucking know. So it was a place that he would never go into. So basically, for the last however many years, she's kept this chick locked in there until she went fucking batshit crazy, or she was already crazy and she found out about it, whatever. But basically, she ended up like doing like Stockholm syndrome with Femi.
Okay.
And what ended up happening was she convinced the real wife or the wife or whatever to go around and start killing these people. So the cops like, yep, that's exactly what I thought this whole time, whatever. So they go to the room and they pull the wife out, and Femi's like, yeah, we're fucked, we have to go with the cops now. And so Femi and the wife get in a carriage and go off while the Count's like, what the fuck just happened? And he's standing there in the middle of the road, and he doesn't go with the wife, but he has this other chick who kind of looks like her. And he's like, probably like, well, I might as well just keep the blonde because, you know, whatever. But so it just leaves him in this really fucked predicament, and he still has the fucking nutcase butler. So he didn't really come up at all on this deal.
Yeah, he got the short end of the stick.
So that's how the movie ends. Spoiler. But one of the other really ridiculous scenes I wanted to talk about was the maid watched the lesbians doing it. And so she went into her room that she shares with the other maid and got naked in front of the mirror and was like checking herself out. She's like, yeah, I'm pretty. And the other maid's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm trying to see if I'm good looking because I saw girls touching each other and I just wanted to see if I was pretty enough to touch. And then the other girl's like, you're really pretty. And she's like, here, feel my boobs. They're hard. And she like grabs them.
Yes, I remember that scene. That one I recollect.
She starts like motorboating her and she's like, oh my gosh, you're so soft. And she's like, okay, calm down now, go to sleep. And she's like, I just want you to know that I think you're really hot. She's like, bitch, go to sleep. And she's like, I think you're really soft. And she's like, okay, that's enough now, go to sleep. And then we never hear another fucking thing about it.
I think that I was watching it at work and I wasn't paying attention. And then all of a sudden I heard something about, look at my boobs, feel them. And she says, yeah, they're hard. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Let me put this away. Let me put this work away for a second and go back and see what the hell's going on here because I was taken aback.
Yeah. That's hysterical. As far as the adult scenes go, the ones that I think I remember are obviously the lesbians in the bedroom. Then when the guy kind of rips off Femi's shirt when he's like, you should come watch him with me. And she's like, get away from me, you pervert. He ends up doing her in that, and that's the only time she gets kind of freaky.
Okay.
Because for the most part, this is like one of the only movies I've ever seen her in where she's like completely clothed like the whole movie.
Right.
Except for that. Then there's the bit with the Count and the girl, and then the girl at the fish place or at the hut. If I recall, that one was like the raunchiest one.
Right. Was it on par with Sister of Ursula porn, or was Sister of Ursula like more porn?
If I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, but I think it's more along the lines of Thriller, A Cruel Picture porn.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
It's like close-up insertions.
Okay.
I can't believe that I had to give you a Google definition for that. I feel like a total pervert now.
What is it called again? Thriller what?
You've never seen Thriller, A Cruel Picture?
No.
Oh my, you're missing out, dude. Like, besides the whole porny part of that movie, That movie is ridiculous. There's a cut version without the porn bits in it called They Call Her One Eye.
Okay.
But Thriller, it's got Christina Lindbergh. She's amazing.
I've never fucking heard of that ever.
Oh my god, that movie is off the chain.
Is it like a revenge film?
Yeah.
Like a I Spit on Your Grave kind of thing?
It's way better than I Spit on Your Grave.
Hey, look, and cinematography by Andrew Bellis. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
I know him. No, I don't. No idea.
But yeah, I mean, we're way off topic, but Christina Lindbergh, if you haven't caught any of her movies, if you want to talk about an awesome like cult actress, you need to look up all of her shit because she is she's one of the good ones.
All right. Thriller, A Cruel Picture.
Yeah. But anyway, so this movie, like we said, has no bloodsucker, has no dancing. It has a ton of really awful shots that were set up by a third grader. There's like almost no depth, like almost every scene. If someone's in a room, they're like, okay, let's have you stand right up against the wall. You know, let's have no depth of field whatsoever. Just stand as close to the wall as you can and start talking. It's
I noticed also there were a lot of red curtains in the movie.
It seems like they were hiding something. That's how I felt. Like the walls were just covered in curtains for no reason.
It was a set that served multiple purposes or something.
Yeah. So,
wow.
And hearing this guy talk, it's like
the main guy, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll find some clips. Like I wanted to grab some clips too before the show, but my computer decided to fucking turn into a crazed zombie and try to eat me, so I had to take care of that. But
that's never good.
There are so many amazing lines in this movie. I'm trying to think of another movie that has lines like this in it. I guess you could compare this movie with Sister of Ursula on that level. But the dialogue in this is just so shit. It's like, it's unbelievable shit. It's like, it almost like doesn't even make sense. It's so shit. And if you can't find fun in that, like you have no business watching this show.
Well, it's a guilty pleasure movie for sure. I would go out on a limb, and I know you're going to say, but I would go out on a limb and say that I would, if I had to pick between this movie and Sister of Ursula, because I had to watch one or the other again, I'd probably pick Sister of Ursula.
I would watch both of these, and
I think Sister of Ursula compared to this, because
like if you want to have an amazing triple feature, watch those two movies and then like A Virgin Among the Living Dead. Like, and you'll just have like the most fun you've ever had in your life.
Is that a terrible movie? Virgin?
Oh yeah, that's bang on like Sister of Ursula style movie.
Okay.
But anyway, so you like Sister of Ursula better than this movie?
Yeah, I have to say that. I mean, at least I have to say that at the very least, Sister of Ursula had, I guess, kind of a whodunit thing going on.
This was a whodunit. You had no idea who it was.
Yeah, but it was weird. Like I didn't even bother. I didn't even bother scoring this thing.
You're such a dick.
Yeah, like I'm a complete loser when it comes to this particular movie because I just phoned it in, man. Like I totally just.
As long as you're letting everyone know that, that's super.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a reason, like if I just kind of gave up on the film, and then as a result of giving up on it, I said, well, there's no real need for me to be scoring it because I haven't really been paying attention. But it doesn't seem to me like it would have gotten very much of a decent score.
I'm very interested in seeing what this would get. I think
Well,
somebody in the group said they scored it and it did really shit.
yeah, one of the guys, I think it was, let's say, Don Anelli. He said somewhere around a 20 something. But I mean, look, why don't we? We're not pressed for time here. We got through the film pretty quickly. Let's try it. Like let's see. Let's pull up the thing here.
Let's pull it up, dude.
Let's pull it up and see what happens.
Pull it up. This is called live scoring.
Live scoring, right? It's like
This
fantasy
is way
football.
better than football or
Isn't football on right now?
or soccer or whatever sport you like. This is like cricket on speed.
All right. So, did we have an Italian director? Yes, we did.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Boom.
Ding. Okay. So that's 10. The killer's identity was hidden.
Yep.
That was 20. We didn't see any murders, so there was no black gloves. Was anybody trying to figure out who the killer was? Like, did anybody like act as an amateur detective?
There's that part where there's footprints in the hall and the count is like, I'm gonna like, there's footprints in the hall, but they're too big to be who I think it is. So, but then like nothing really comes out of it. So, I mean, I'm sure they were trying to figure out who had it and who had the knife. But I will say, we can't forget those shitty cutaways to black and white waves.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up, dude. Like, what was that?
That was to let you know it was raining.
There was a storm out, right?
Yeah.
I thought maybe like it was artsy and it was supposed to like represent the storm in
No, I'm
someone's
sure
mind.
they just pulled it off of some public domain fucking movie.
Yeah, that was really bad. They didn't even put color in it.
No, it was so shit.
All right, so we're gonna say no for amateur detective because, I mean, it sounds to me like nobody really was pursuing anything. They were just worried about getting laid, and then, oh my God, there's a head. So the film was from 1975. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's 5 points. So now we have 25. The motivation for the killer was psychological revenge, right?
Yeah, I guess she just wanted the dude.
She wasn't trying to blackmail anybody or get money. So we'll give 10. So 35. The person who's identified as the killer, did she just leave?
She got arrested.
Okay, so no points for that. And then this director, has he ever made another Giallo?
I don't know. I hope he never even made another movie because like he has no concept of what the fuck he was doing.
I wonder, did you check Creep to see if anybody's interacting with us live?
I can't see on here. Let me check YouTube real quick.
Oh, okay. You know what? Q&A. I see nothing. Okay, the director is directed by Alfredo Rizzo.
That sounds like a fake name if I ever.
Oh, dude, he made a movie called Bloody Pit of Horror. Or did he make it, or under the name Daniel Parks? Bloody Pit of Horror is a terrible but fun movie from the 60s. As an actor, no, I want as a director. Okay, yeah, he didn't do Bloody Pit of Horror as a director. Yeah, we don't have any more Jolly here that I can tell.
Sanders says there was no ass tickling with a feather in this movie, and that is correct. That got left out. So
was that a comment on YouTube? I didn't see it.
YouTube, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna say, let's get back to our thing here. We've got 10, 20, 25, 35. Okay. Was there at least 3 people killed?
Yep.
Yes. So that's 35 plus 3 is 38. Was there any sort of flashback revelation I don't think so, right? It was just the guy
Um,
telling everybody everything.
well, it was the chick explaining what had happened, but there was no actual flashback with it. So yeah.
Okay. So we're at 30, I'm sorry, 39. Um, Mistaken identity. During the course of the film, the police identify the wrong person. That happened like 3 times, right?
Yeah.
So, uh, so that's 41. There was more than one killer or an accomplice.
Yep.
Okay, so that's 45.
Holy shit.
The soundtrack had nothing to do with. There was nude scene for it's 48. There was more than 3 suspects, or at least 3 suspects.
Yep.
So that was 52. No urban location. Okay, so we're working with a base of 52.
Oh yeah. That's not bad, dude. I'm digging this so far.
A base of 52. Now, no airplane because it's 1900.
Well, there was a boat.
Okay, that doesn't count. It's not an airplane. The Bloodsucker leads the dance. No. Was there a funeral? Yeah, they attended a funeral. Like they had to bury somebody.
Yeah, and he even fucking did the "Hey, everybody, I'm reading the Bible."
What did I say? 52.
Yeah.
All right, so 53. No car or motorcycle racing. Was there a chase scene?
Uh.
The killer going no, because we really never saw the killer in action.
No. The killer was chasing Evelyn down the stairs.
Okay.
And the killer chased her into the arms of the count, and then she freaked out, and the killer ran off.
Okay.
Boom.
Man, I really wasn't paying attention. Okay, 54 then. We had a comic relief character for sure. It was that guy who was like the effeminate
and the fucking whore.
And the priest, or the guy who was the religious guy. So
yeah.
All right, it's 55. Did anybody die from falling?
Not in the scenes, but we were told that people died from falling.
Okay, not giving it. Were there any dolls or dummies in the film?
I don't think so.
Okay, gay and lesbian is a big ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So that's 56. No J and B.
No.
No foreigners. They were all kind of from the same joint. Was there an odd clue? No.
Well, yeah, the dagger went missing. Is that a clue?
No, like something like the little gold scorpion cufflink in Case of the Scorpion's Tail. Like that's an odd clue. Or the necklace in Four Flies.
The only clue that gave anything away was that the cop found a key under the girl's bed that didn't unlock any room in the house.
Uh-huh.
And that's how he found out she was the one who was hiding something.
Mm.
But I don't know if you would take that.
Nah. We didn't have a pathologist. We definitely had a peeping Tom. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. So what is that? 59?
That's 50, like 57. And then we had, you want to call the fact that they were actors, because we have this we have this photography, glamour, modeling, and art kind of point.
Totally.
So we'll give it to them. Okay, 57. Was there a real priest?
You said 57 like 3 times.
All right, 58. Was there a real priest, or was it just a religious guy?
No, just the religious guy.
Okay, we hadn't had any pseudoscience. There was no psychologist. Was there any spiral stairs? I didn't recollect any spiral stairs. Okay, so 58. Turns out the final score is somewhere around 58.
Okay,
and that's just doing it off the top of my head. If I went back and looked at it again, which I won't. I'm sorry, guys, and it's partly due to just being a little bit burnt out on Giallo in general, but this was not the film to revitalize.
You are out of your goddamn mind, sir. Oh.
But maybe one day down the road, when things get bad, I may put it back on. Well, let's put it this way: if our beloved CG comes back, I will look for it in its porn version because I want to see the porn version. I want to see all the stuff I missed for sure.
Yeah, you should.
But okay, well, I guess that's it.
Well, let me see this real quick.
What's this?
So you said it was a 58?
Yeah, 58.
Okay, so it scored the same as $5 for an August Moon. Had a higher score than Cold-Blooded Beast, All the Colors of the Dark, Paranoia, Ideal Place to Kill, So Sweet, So Perverse, Footprints on the Moon, The Killer Must Kill Again, Two Faces of Fear, Death Laid an Egg, Quiet Place to Kill, Bizarre, and Stage Fright.
Wow. So clearly my Giallo score is completely flawed. Where, if you look at the Q&A, it says just because I'll read it verbatim. We'll go to the FAQs, ladies and gentlemen. How does a high-scoring film compare to a low-scoring one? This is a great question. The answer is, it depends. The important thing to understand is that just because a film receives a low score doesn't mean it's not a good film. And of course, the opposite is also true. So,
wow.
I had a nice little disclaimer there before I started putting scores up.
Is this what do you call it?
So the question is it a Giallo? Like, does it fulfill what we've accepted as the criteria for a Giallo film? And I guess it does. It does.
Would this be a must-see?
No. No, this is a skip it for sure.
Oh my god.
What's the
I don't think you have that on here, do you?
Yeah, I do. Let's see here. Let's go down to
a worthwhile deviation.
Bizarre got to skip it. Bizarre and Sister of Ursula both got skip it's.
You skipped Sister of Ursula?
Lacks any redeeming value, a waste of time. That's
oh my god.
That's how it's described on my site.
Oh shit. Well, there you go.
I just need to read this just to remind myself that this was great. The little caption I wrote for Bizarre is a complete mess of a film that merges 1980s soap opera narrative with softcore porn and horrible saxophone music. Run away quickly. And you're saying, why run away? That sounds fantastic.
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was Bizarre was definitely an experience, especially the whole androgyny thing.
Well, like I think that movie and this one, the first time I even heard of them was on some list of the worst Gialli of all time.
Well,
so
sounds like a good list. I still don't really think that Bizarre is a Giallo.
I don't really think so either, but like I don't know how you like I understand in Italy it's considered that because any kind of thriller.
Yeah, I guess it's some sort of thriller mystery, right? So
yeah,
that would qualify. I suppose.
But whatevs.
But anyway, I had an email from a person who went to the website, to the Giallo Score website, sent me an email asking about a particular film. It's one of those situations where The person has seen the film a long time ago, remembers one specific scene, and wants to know if we can figure out what movie it is. So I'll read you the email.
Caps on.
I came across your website. This is from Turge. I'm going to slaughter his name, his or her name. Turge Skavdal. He's from Norway. So it's Turge Skavdal. He wants to
Dark Throne.
He wants to ask, I came across your website searching for a movie I saw as a child that I can't identify. It sounds to me like a Giallo movie. Since you have knowledge of this genre, I thought maybe you could help me with it. There's only one scene I can remember. And now I'm going to describe the scene, and I need to say up front, I want to see this movie based on this one scene description. A woman is searching through an apartment. A photographer is living there, and she comes across some pictures of either dead girls or nude pictures in his photo lab. Now, that could be like 20,000 films that we've seen.
Yeah, like Cat of Nine Tails or fucking that Bava one.
Or I was thinking, what have you done to your daughters? There was a photographer and the nude girls.
The Girl Who Knew Too Much.
Well, now here's the other thing. The woman seemed to be very frightened by what she saw in these images. She is suddenly surprised when the photographer comes in and there's a fight, and she manages to throw some chemicals in his face and sets him on fire. The man runs screaming through the apartment, engulfed in flames, and dies. Now that reminds me a little bit of Who Saw Her Die, but I don't remember that there are any pictures in that one.
Strip Nude for Your Killer, she goes through some pictures somewhere, and the guy catches her, but I don't think she lights him on fire. I think they just tussle or something.
Right. Well, if any of you listeners out there know what film we're talking about or can recollect those details in a film, let us know on the website or what have you, and we'll take a look. And I'll get back to Turge, if that's how you say his name, or Turge, and let him know. But yeah, that's all I got. And I'm also a complete jerk because I still haven't sent out the one pack of Giallo playing cards that was won by one of our listeners. So I apologize.
You need my address for that?
Nah. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yep.
And we still have to give away more of them. So,
well, do you know what you want to do next?
Do I know what film?
Yeah, since I completely damaged your psyche.
No, you didn't damage my psyche. I'm looking through the list of films here that I have on my library, and let's see here. We did a lot of freaking films.
Yeah. I mean, we're on episode 62, and we used to do double features sometimes, too.
Yeah, we did 10 double features. And you mentioned the Cold-Blooded Beast or Slaughter Hotel. We need to remember that one probably is like head and shoulders above these other two, as far as
you're out of your fucking mind.
The sleazy shit movies. No, you don't think so?
Not at all, dude.
Okay. All right.
It's good, but it's not that good.
Some people have taste, and some people don't. I'm looking. Let's see. We did The Washing Machine.
Didn't you want to do that hotel one? Was it Play Hotel or something like that?
Oh yeah, I wanted to do Play Hotel. Do I even have that? Let's see. I think I have a copy of it somewhere. And we did the French sex murders, right? We did that a couple weeks ago. Okay. Yeah. Which was also terrible. Let's see. What about
Bob?
I'm sailing. Taking a vacation from my problems. Your death therapy cured me, you genius. Oh, what a great movie that is. I love that movie.
That movie used to give me panic attacks. That and very bad things. Like I couldn't get through the movie without having like a total anxiety
Oh
attack.
my God, dude! Very Bad Things is such a terrible movie, but great, great.
Oh,
John
awful.
Favreau's in that movie, isn't he?
Yeah, and Christian Slater and
Yeah.
Diaz and Daniel Stern. It's awful. It's awful, awful, awful.
Black comedy at its best. How about we do The Short Night of Glass Dolls?
Boom. There we go.
I haven't seen that in a while, and it's awesome. I love it. It's a great movie, and it's different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I
That'll
think
definitely
I
be a different
already
watch.
scored that one, so I don't have any work to do. That's really why I thought of it.
What a prick.
So, sorry, I'm laying low here. For those of you looking at me, man, it got dark at your house. Starting to get dark.
You know, what time is it? At 7:45 the bats come out. And I just sit here and watch the bats and they get really close and it scares me.
At 7:45 they come out, so you got
Yeah.
another like 20 minutes.
Yeah. They actually should be coming out anytime now. The sun's low enough. But yeah, sometimes they get a little too close. They fly like right over the top of my roof. And one time one came flying like probably just a couple feet from my face.
Ugh.
Right across, and I seriously almost wet myself because they fly in such a chaotic fucking fashion.
Right.
It's like you have no idea where they're gonna end up.
Yeah, like where are they going to show up exactly?
But yeah, no one cares about that.
Are we still recording the show? Is that
Yep,
going on?
they're out now, dude.
Oh wow,
Wow,
that's amazing.
holy shit. Okay, yeah, the show's still on. We're still live. People still give a shit.
Getting your Patreon money's worth, guys. Talking about bats.
So just so anyone who cares, on the next episode of Western Ciao Ciao, we're going to be doing the Franco Nero film Kioma. So that'll be next week. And I've been totally behind on posting shows. So I have, besides this show, I have 2 other shows to post to the site. So apologies.
How did the round table go on Sunday?
It went well. Those are hysterical.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is, and he's probably going to get pissed off that I'm telling the story, as soon as we went off the air, I don't know what the hell Richard was doing, but he was saying something like he had a tattoo on his thigh, and he like stood up real quick to show it, and his mic cord or his headphone cord got caught on his mic, which the cord for that was hooked up to his camera, which was hooked up to, that was on top of a bunch of books. So anyway, what ended up happening was he stood up and everything fell down, like whole computer, like everything crashed, and he thought he broke everything, and we couldn't hear him for a while, and we were cracking up. But yeah, that was the highlight of the show for me.
Oh my God, that sounds awesome. Did you guys did you and Eric pick another horror film for next time?
No, I was trying to convince him to do Troll 2, and he was trying to convince me not to.
They're eating. Isn't that the one where he says they're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me? Yeah. Oh my God,
Grandpa!
Yeah,
Grandpa. Yeah,
that's not Italian, is that? It is Italian.
It's an Italian director. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know where the line gets drawn, but that movie is a horrible turd, and
that's why you want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's Nilbog, dude. But yeah. Anyway, so we haven't decided what to do. We were going to talk about it, but yeah. So that's that. It is dark here. Jesus Christ! It doesn't look that dark here, but when I see it on the screen, it looks like I'm in some weird fucking Friday the 13th movie.
And you could take Creep's video feed and speed it up like at 10x, and you'll just see it quickly get darker.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know why you do that.
I don't know. But anyway, so thanks for watching, everybody. And until next time, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Yeah.